Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Tamika Thompson, and for this video, I am going to be talking about why job stability is a complete myth and why it does not exist in 2025. And if I'm being honest, I feel like job stability was never ever a thing. I recorded a video on at will employment. What is at will employment? And the reality is, job stability has never ever been a thing. These companies can get rid of you at any point in time for any reason. I think now, because of what we're seeing with AI and advancements in technology and the economy and things like that, it makes it seem like job stability is going away because of the evolutions and the different breakthroughs and, whatever you want to call it that's going on in today's job market. But if we're being keeping it a whole buck, keeping it 100, job stability never ever existed. And as a millennial, both my parents, had the same jobs for literally 10 plus years. My father worked the same job until he retired. He was with the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority, for over 30 years. It was his first job when he graduated high school, and he never ever had another job. He worked from the time that he was like 18, 19 years old, all the way up until he retired when he was like 60, 61, 62, somewhere around there. My mom had one job for a long period of time. She was at one position for like 5-7 years. She held one job for 10 or more years. And seeing that growing up made me believe that, job stability was a thing. If I go to college and get my degree, I too can have the same job for 30 plus years. And I got to work hard and show up as my best every day and blah, 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 blah. Y'all, we have been lied to. I have been lied to. I have been scammed, okay? Job stability is not real, and I no longer want you to subscribe or ascribe to this outdated notion. There is no such thing as job stability. There is a such thing as employability, though, and we are going to talk about the difference between the two. But mostly, this video is going to focus on why job stability is a myth and why you should not believe in it anymore, and why you should not be trying to achieve or get job stability at all. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number one on this list is that companies' priorities are shifting incredibly rapidly. It's so fast. And I'm sure AI has something to do with it. Consumer and customer behavior shifts have something to do with it. The economy, right? The new presidency that we have, all of this is really kind of creating the perfect storm for things to just be completely chaotic and completely haywire. Now, I know we have AI that has now entered the space or entered the chat. And with the development of these AI platforms, we're seeing companies really solve complex and advanced business problems relatively quickly without necessarily needing to keep the same people on payroll. A department that may be working on a particular problem, may be working on this problem for 2 or 3 years. With AI, they can solve that problem in 7 months, and now the whole department is gone, right? We're seeing how these developments are changing the workforce. So if a company can solve a problem quicker, if they can identify the problem and solve it faster, that saves them money that they would typically spend on employees. And so everything is just it's just ridiculously insane. So whereas you would have been in a role or a position for maybe 2 to 3 years, if they bring in a software or find some way to streamline your job, you could only be in that job for 7 to 8 months, maybe a year, before you are unfortunately getting a layoff notice. This also has something to do with a lot of the mergers and acquisitions and even bankruptcies that we are seeing in the job market. I was very open and transparent about me getting laid off last year. And the company that I was working for, Walgreens, actually now, it was announced today that I'm recording this video, was just bought out by a private equity firm. And when I think about it, that tracks because there were a lot of layoffs across Walgreens last year. And now that I'm hearing or that I've heard that they've been bought out by a different firm, that makes a lot of sense why they were letting so many people go. And I made a video about this, about when you should expect to lose your job, right? If a merger is on the table, an acquisition, or some sort of a buyout, a bankruptcy, those are all red flags that you could lose your job. Things that may come and go relatively quickly, right? In the pandemic, we saw a lot of companies surge in profits and sales, and certain products or certain markets were just booming. And a lot of companies like really fueled that with their hiring and, building entire new teams and regions and departments. Now, on the other side of the pandemic, those same markets or those same products may not be selling the way that they were. The world has moved on, right? So as a result, a lot of departments and teams are just being let go. So job stability now, it's so finicky, it's so fickle. And I was talking to a friend of mine who is in HR about this a couple of days ago, where it seems as though what companies are doing now is they are hiring people as full-time workers, but having them work on a particular project or assignment almost as if they were contractors. So you come into a role with a full-time salary of maybe $175,000, and you think that you're going to be working on that at that company in that role for 2 or 3 years, and you'll be making that $175,000 for multiple years. Whereas from a hiring perspective or from a business perspective, they may be thinking like, yo, we're going to hire this person to do this one thing. We're going to keep them on for a year. They're going to get their benefits. They're going to get their salary. But once this new thing or whatever the thing is solved or fixed or developed or produced, we are going to lay them off unless they have the skills and the ability and the value to help with the next thing. So the way these companies are moving now, it's incredibly cutthroat, and job stability is not a thing. As a matter of fact, I am at a place now when I take a job, I don't expect to be there longer than 2 years. And if I am, I know that I'm going to be upskilling like crazy. I'm going to be, finding a way to advance my knowledge, learning a lot about the organization. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it now. Because after I took my most recent position, I went back to school, and I'll be making a video on that. So I am earning my master's degree. Like, the amount of energy and dedication that it takes today to not just maintain, but to grow and remain employable and relevant is absolutely insane. Like, it's literally a never-ending thing. Number 2 on this list is that companies are not as stable as they used to be, right? We have seen, especially more recently, a lot of well-known, almost legacy OG brands go bankrupt. We've seen Hooters go bankrupt. We saw Red Lobster file for bankruptcy. Like, we've seen a lot of companies that in the past were really well known for having exceptional business performance that are now going under. And we're also seeing the rise of some newer brands that are really hot for a second, maybe a year or two, a couple of years, and then they kind of have a little bit of a slump or they go away altogether. A good example of this would be dating apps, right? When dating apps first came on the scene some years back, they were profitable, they were making money, and that was like the industry or the market to be in. Now, it was just released a couple of days ago that dating apps, particularly Bumble, is laying off I think it was 16 or 17%, 18% of their workforce. So companies used to have longevity, right? When a company was established, if it was well known, if it was doing well, it was assumed that that company would be doing well for almost its entirety, right? You weather the good times, you weather the bad times, you have some slumps, but the volatility of some of the brands, especially these new companies that are entering the market and then they disappear, has really been interesting to see. And so when a company is not stable, that in turn means that their workforce is not going to be stable. There are going to be some layoffs. They may have some peak hiring, right? and then they may have some hiring freezes, and then they may go bankrupt and they let everyone go. So it's been really, like I said, as a millennial, as someone who grew up seeing stores and particular brands just be around for a really, really long time, to see certain brands file bankruptcy or certain brands not even be on the Fortune 500 anymore, like, it is insane. And I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with the digital age and the digital era and trends and how all of that goes. But the effort and the energy and the innovation that it takes for a company or a brand to maintain its relevancy for longer today takes so much more than it used to. And as a result, that does have an effect on the workplace. So if you have a company that you're working for that has been in business for 30 years, yeah, it sounds good to believe that you may be at that company for the next 10 to 30 years. But if their sales are going down, foot traffic is going down, all the numbers on these reports are going down, 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 then you best believe you might find yourself out of the job. And it sucks, but it's the truth. Number 3 on this list is that companies are always, and I'm going to say this and hear me, companies are always going to prioritize their bottom line over you. So I saw quite a few videos on TikTok of people getting laid off, and they were so devastated. And, you know, in the comment section, everyone is outraged. Oh, it's all about profit. It's not about people. You guys, it was never about people. It was always about profit. You just got comfortable with your salary and with your benefits and with your cushy little perks, right? All the things, all the trimmings that come with getting a job. And you think and you believe that you're safe, and that is not true. These businesses are businesses. They are in business to make money. And if that means to make money or to save money, they have to get rid of people, you best believe that they are going to do just that. And that is what we're seeing. When a company is not doing well, the number one thing that they do is lay off people. And everyone always says, oh, it's not fair. They shouldn't do that. Those people, now they're without a job. How are they going to provide for their families? And all of that is valid, but all of that is emotional, right? When it comes to business, it is not about feelings or emotions. It's about money. It's about finances. It's about business health. It's about performance. And if letting go of 50 or 100 people means that next fiscal year, the business is going to turn a profit or save money or minimize the loss that they're experiencing, they are going to do that. Businesses are in business to make money. And at the end of the day, we, or us as employees, people don't like to think about it like this, but we are liabilities. They are paying us, meaning they are losing money by having us on payroll. Employees, workers, we're an expense. And as we all know, when we as consumers are looking to save money, the first thing that we're going to do is look at our check, see how much money we got left over or what's in the red or whatever. And we're going to make the changes that we need to make in order to cut back. We're seeing it with the economy right now. People are not spending on certain items like they used to. Certain industries and markets are down in sales. Like, it just makes sense. So I want you to take your feelings out of it and understand that your job is your job. But at the end of the day, it's an expense for the company. And if the company needs to sacrifice you in order to get where it's trying to go in the future, it is going to do just that. And regardless of how you feel about it, it is what it is. And last on this list, this may trigger some people, but I don't care, is executive leaders, those CEOs and presidents and all of that, they lie, y'all, and they cannot be trusted. CEOs and all the C-suite people, the executive people, I guarantee you, I promise you, because I have seen it, they know what is going to happen before it happens. So while this layoff is just being brought to you on this day at this time, and it seems random and sporadic, and it seems like it came out of nowhere, they probably planned that a year ago, okay? I remember sitting in so many town halls, and it's like, oh, we're doing great. This is up. We're moving in this direction. And 3 weeks later, half of our department was let go. And it was like, well, wait a second though, because didn't you say that everything was good? So if everything's good, then why are we letting people go? Y'all, you cannot trust these executives. Do not be like, what's the word? Do not be, oh my gosh, do not be swayed and do not be blinded by the comforting words that they put in these presentation decks, the confidence and the boldness that of how they speak in these meetings. Always be on the lookout. I believe I put this in a different video when I recorded, like when you know you're about to get fired or 6 signs you're about to get fired or something like that. Pay attention to the buzz that you hear about your company outside of your company's walls. If your CEO or your executive leader is in a town hall telling you that the company is doing good and everything is great and this is what you guys are going to do, but on CNN or on Forbes or something, it's showing that your company is tanking and sales are plummeting and you are entering your third fiscal quarter in the red, and everything is pointing downwards, you guys, it's time to jump ship. Do not trust these executives. They are not your friends. They are not your leaders. They are doing their job. And lie may be such a strong word, but I'm just going to call a spade a spade. It is a lie. They are doing their job. They are meant to inform you and keep you aware, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are telling you the whole story or the full truth. Another sign, and again, this is in that video, if you start to see certain executive people leave or vacate the company or transition into different roles or resign abruptly, that is the clearest red sign or the clearest red flag that I've ever seen. I remember working for one company in particular that I got laid off from, because I've been laid off at least 3 or 4 times in my professional lifetime, but I digress. It's not about me. I remember all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we lost like our chief human resources officer. We lost our chief marketing officer. And it was another like high level official. And I'm just like, wait, is something happening though? I was so dumb, so young and dumb. I think I was like 23, 24 when this had happened, and just, oh my goodness, so naive, rose-colored glasses, not realizing like, girl, that is the sign. When those executives start jumping ship, baby, you need to be up out of there right along with them. So those are the reasons why job stability is a myth in 2025, and probably why it will continue to be. Like I said, from what I'm seeing, like as somewhat of an analyst, right? Because I've been working for a while, but I also read a lot of business reports, and I'm really good at just keeping my eye on what's going on in the market in general. This trend that we're seeing may be here to stay. As workers, as employees, we are going to have to adapt and accept the fact that those days of maybe holding a particular position or being with a particular company for years and years and years may not exist. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, right? If you continuously rise in the ranks every year and a half, you're getting promoted. It is very, very possible. Even though I have never been promoted, I'm not bitter about it. I made a video about that. But the reality is these companies, the job market, the workforce at this point is moving at a very, very rapid pace. A lot of it has to do with technology. A lot of it has to do with the demographics, the customer behavior, trends, and the changes that we're seeing on that front, the economy, just how the world is shifting in general. And that has a lot to do with how that affects us as workers and how we need to moving forward. So from here on out, when you take a job, expect to be moving on in some way, shape, or form, whether you're getting promoted or whether you're hopping to a new job, you decide to job hop and pursue another opportunity. Expect that churn or that turnaround to happen sooner than you think. I say at this point, around that 1.5 to 2 year mark, if you've been in a role, you need to be on alert, because if you are a sitting duck, you are at risk. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful, and let me know what you all think about the points that I made in this video in the comments. Do you agree? Is there something in particular that really drove home for you? Have you experienced any of the things I just talked about? Was your company unstable? Did your company file bankruptcy and now, you're out of a job, or you found yourself out of a job? Let me know, because again, I know I read a lot of these reports and I'm really into learning about business these days, and I feel like my projections and my assessment is pretty spot on. But if you feel otherwise, let me know. I feel like companies now, they're going to be moving different, and we need to be doing the same. Really hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you found it insightful. Go ahead and hit that like button down below. Go ahead and give me a like, and also go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can receive more career takes or topics or reviews or assessments from me. Really appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.